Before we get into today's show, a lot of trade rumors out there on Dallas. I want to see your predictions. Will the Cowboys make a trade before the season begins? 1 for yes, 0 for no. Go ahead and sound off for me in the comment section. Where else but in today's video? Couple different trade targets, and we'll start here, that were mentioned by Blogging the Boys. Siaki Ika, we'll come back to. Treylon Burks, we spent a lot of time on in recent days. It's available on the channel. I'm not going to rehash it. It does make some sense. 2 Panthers players, Miles Sanders, Jonathan Mingo, plus other players from other outlets we'll get to here in a little bit. I want to begin with Siaki Ika. And I get the mindset of, the Browns, they went out and they added some defensive linemen. They added Michael Hall. They spent a late-round pick on Jawan Briggs out of Cincinnati. And they have Dalvin Tomlinson, etc. So I do get the, add a defensive tackle from Cleveland. I think they picked the wrong one. Their nose guards are Dalvin Tomlinson and kind of it. Siaki Ika was a 3rd-round pick. You saw the stats. He barely played. It wasn't even good when he played. But they kind of need him at nose guard. In many ways, it was the late day 2 version of Mozzie Smith this year. Just wasn't good enough. They're not going to bail on him after a year. And the guys they mentioned, Briggs and Hall especially is not a nose guard. So, got to differentiate between your DTs there. So, fun name. Not going to get my hopes up, though. A name that I do think you could get from Carolina right now, that is Miles Sanders. Remember, Carolina not only drafted Jonathan Brooks in round 2, preventing Dallas from taking him, they signed Rashad Penny. Chuba Hubbard outplayed Sanders last year. Raheem Blackshear probably makes this team as a kick returner. And they've got guys like Mike Boone, UDFA Jaden Sherd, I think I pronounced it correctly. Maybe Tariq Cohen does something too. Miles Sanders' time in Carolina has got 1 year at most. He's due $4.22 million this year. There was a $2 million bonus, I believe, was already paid. Dallas won't do that. They won't pay $4.22 million for a year of Miles Sanders. Now, if Carolina wants to eat that contract, or if they post June 1st cut him, there aren't nearly as many actual after June 1st player gets cut these days. Sanders could be one, because Carolina, I'm pretty sure, and I believe they did, they maximized their post-June 1st cut option, so they literally can't do any more. Sanders was terrible in Carolina. He was literally one of the worst backs in football. But he was awesome in Philadelphia. So I would be willing, especially if he gets cut, bring him in. Give him a shot. Because he's got speed. He's got big playability. He's got juice. He has the things that you don't really have on the roster right now. So do you want to get Miles Sanders? Some options. T for you want to trade for him. S for you'd add him only if he gets cut and you want to sign him. P for you would rather pass altogether. It is the pinned comment on today's video. If that ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know. Jonathan Mingo is next up here. This was, he was also bad year 1 in Carolina. To an extent, that coaching staff was so bad. It was the definition of we hired all these guys who have, head coaching and OC aspirations, and the end result was there were too many cooks in the kitchen, too many different ideas, and it was just kind of a muddled mess. Mingo was a massive disappointment. One of the funniest plays last season was Bryce Young's rolling right. He looks for Mingo, throws it to him, and Mingo jumps up in the air and contorts his body to land out of bounds on purpose. He just jumps. It's like he was playing the floor is lava. Instead of trying to do it was the opposite of get your feet in bounds. It was get your feet out of bounds. It was wild. I was not that high on Jonathan Mingo. I had him barely inside my top 100. He went top 40, and it was a mess last year. Carolina is maybe open to doing it, but they'd probably ask for a 3rd or a 4th round pick, and I didn't even think he was barely worth that for me coming out, let alone a year later after a bad season. Now, we have you covered with all the latest and greatest on the Cowboys, whether that's news, rumors, free agency, trades like it is today. So don't miss out. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/CowboysTV. We We've got some more running back trade ideas. Shocker, right? Pro Football Network suggested the Cowboys make a trade for Cardinals running back James Conner. I've got a lot of thoughts on this one, but first the trade idea from PFN. The Cowboys get Conner, and the Cardinals get just a future sixth-round pick, 2025 sixth-rounder. Let's assume it's the best one, so it's picking the early 200s, whatever it is. I have thoughts on that. But pick a running back to trade for. JC for James Conner, MS for Miles Sanders. Do remember, of course, that Sanders is making around $4.22 million. James Conner is making about $4.3-ish million. So not much of a difference there salary cap-wise, FYI. Pick one to trade for, JC or MS. JC by a country mile for me. It's not even close. Conner, even though he's getting up there in age, got better last year. I think we all remember that game when he ran all over Dallas. It was funny to me how much people hyped up Conner in 2021. It was fantasy related because he had 15 touchdowns. He was at 3.7 yards per carry. He was a better player in 2022. He was just a bit banged up injury-wise, and he didn't score as much. And again, he might not play a full 17-game season for you, but he had 1,000 yards last year on 200 carries. He still offers some juice. He offers some pass catching. He's got red zone stuff. If I could get James Conner today for a sixth-round pick, I'd do it. In fact, I might send 2 of my 6th or a 5th even, if that evens out. If you want to keep the extra pick. I would do it. Be a 1-year rental, I'm fine. Arizona did draft Trey Benson, but the rest of those backs are like, it's Amari DeMercado, it's Michael Carter, it's DJ Dallas, Tony Jones, journeyman, late-round picks. Benson will become their RB1. I don't think they want to just move on from Conner quite yet. So if he's available, though, I'm in. Now, speaking of running backs, the Ezekiel Elliott jerseys are available. You do have to go to chatsports.com/Zeke15jersey. As of filming, they still feature the 21 jerseys. This will redirect you to where you can go to find the 15, though. I'm a little surprised Snacks not handled this properly yet, but it's probably not official in the database yet. You can get the Zeke 15 jersey, though, at chatsports.com/Zeke15jersey. Another running back trade name, Matt Lombardo, who now writes for Heavy.com and frankly does not get very good insight there, suggested the Cowboys could go trade for Jeff Wilson, the Dolphins running back. And to be clear, there is no insider info here. At least not good. The last Cowboys scoop, the one that sticks out to me was he claimed Devontae Casey had massive interest, and he signed for the vet minimum like months into the process. So, However, this is a logical guess and idea. The Dolphins have running back depth. The Cowboys do not. Wilson's been a good football player. I think this is a good name to consider here. More on this to come, but in general, are the Cowboys going to trade for a running back? Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comment section of today's video. Now, Wilson's sample size over the course of his career can be described as inconsistent. 41 carries last year behind that in a loaded Dolphins running back room that got better this offseason. But almost 1,000, 860 on 176 carries in 2022 for the Niners and the Dolphins. Remember, he got traded because of Christian McCaffrey. He's been efficient. He offers some speed. He went to North Texas. This is a name I would consider. I don't think Miami's going to look to trade Raheem Mostert. I'm simply not going to get my hopes up for that one, but I would do that one too. Devin Achane's not going to get dealt either. He's a second-round pick. He's too good. Or third-round pick, which I would have loved him in Dallas. That's the type of guy I love. They got 2 of my favorite backs in back-to-back years, Achane and Jalen Wright. You want big plays? Boom. There you go. That team just loves speed, man. That's 3 guys. I don't really want Savon Ahmed or Chris Brooks, even though those guys have had some NFL snaps. Jeff Wilson would be the guy I would call about Miami first. Otherwise, wait and see which one of those guys ends up getting cut down in Miami.